Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Aries. This is going to be your August 2025 reading. This is for August. This is for Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided, and I thank you for paying attention to your intuition. And I feel like you should be proud of that also. Some of you could certainly be here checking up on an Aries, whether you could be someone that you care about, someone that you love. But I want you to remember that like, I read through our spirit guides. I don't know why I say mine, our spirit guides. And they know, they know you're here. So just be open. Just be open. Aries, I have to tell you, I feel like when I'm shuffling, I always pre-shuffle the cards. And when I was pre-shuffling your cards, I just kept getting all these good feelings. Like, like I feel like this is going to be a month where you're putting a pin in it. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a pinnacle. It might be an anniversary date, that a new anniversary date. Um, I feel like financially, it feels like any restrictions are being lifted, but I feel the same thing in love. I just feel like restrictions are being lifted, period. Um, and this is just your time. So, this is, I feel, is going to be a great time for you. So, let's go ahead and go to the cards. We're going to bring the lid down. We will let Mother Mary open up the reading. I'm going to use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. I'm going to use the tarot of dreams for your main spread. By the way, I'm doing it. Whoops, I'm doing opposite signs again, and I haven't done your opposite yet, which is Libra, but I will do it after that. And I do opposites because many times what we lack, our opposite sign possesses. So it can definitely help us see, like, okay, like I'm a Virgo sun, so Pisces is my opposite. So their, what do I want to say? Like, their loving ways, can be more difficult for a Virgo versus a Pisces. So we can definitely help each other. And that's what I feel also with you and Libra. And Libra is about balance. So that could be a clue. Like when you feel balanced, your life just feels better. So anyways, we will use the major arcanas. I don't know if I said that already. The tarot dreams for your main spread. I feel like I said all that. So let's go ahead and let Mother Mary open up what I feel is going to be a beautiful reading. I just feel it. I got a feeling. Shout out to my friend on March 22nd. He was actually the Aries I was with for 25 years. That many of you heard me speak of. I have nothing bad to say. I really don't. We remain friends, really close friends. Though now I am in a different state, so that connection has ended. And I'm with another man, so loyal Virgo. Open your heart, Aries. Open your heart. I allow myself to feel the full range of emotions, especially all forms of love. Interesting. It's like Mother Mary is telling you to open your heart. There's got to be a reason. Your empathy, your compassion. Um, you may truly be the leader this month. And I don't know why I'm picking this up, but I feel like you may find a lot of people coming to you for advice, for guidance. But this may also speak about romantic love. So we're not going to leave anything off the table. All right. bring in the major arcanas. You know, it's interesting. Another reason why I do opposites, a good example of it is I just did Scorpio and Taurus. And their readings, though I did end up using different decks, which I had planned on using the same decks for opposite signs, their reading was so closely aligned that I actually recommended that Taurus watch because I did Scorpio first. But anyway, all right. So anyone who's new, we use the major arcanas as kind of like bullet points for better lack of words. Um, I feel like they bring a lot of value to our readings. All right, so we have the Death card. Interesting, I keep talking about Scorpio. This is Scorpio's major arcana, but it talks about transformation. You know, something may be coming to completion, a door that needs closed, but it is so a new door can open. You know, you should never fear the Death card because it means rebirth. But yeah, it does mean that a certain door is probably ready to close, but look at that. How about that as the new door opening? The sun. First of all, card of Leo, a ruler of Leo. I like to have both my kids here. Um, the sun's a great sign because it's your illuminator. It illuminates your path, your steps. It lets you know if you're about to take a left where you really should have taken a right, you know, without impeding on your free will. But it's always a great sign when the sun shows up. And then, hello world. So definitely the death card is talking about the ending of something. But it is so, this new chapter, right in the middle of this image, is the Fool, right? A brand new beginning on something. Something you may have to take a leap of faith on. Mother Mary telling you to open your heart. The sun will help illuminate it for you. And by the way, when the sun comes out, anything done in the dark, it'll come to the light. Like it's something, and when I say that, what I'm really saying is you don't have to fear the darkness when the sun is here. So the world also means there's been a completion. But here is this new chapter opening up. And I feel like what it's saying is you have nothing to fear here. Quite the opposite. It feels like something really to look forward to. Just wondering what needed to close. I'm sure that'll come out. All right, well, let's bring the Tarot of Dreams in and let's find out. You know, and I already feel some of you already know. Like, you're like, I know, Sandy. I know what door needs to close. And it is so that you can have transformation in your life. But then the door that opens is the sun. So when I felt, no wonder I was feeling that you were that this was gonna be a very good month for you. All right. I was just gonna say, it doesn't promise that it'll be issue free. Well, hello. Okay. We have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. I call it my yes card. We have, interesting, the Knight of Swords. And then we have the Two of Swords. It's almost like sending a message that I'm a little fearful of sending, but I send it anyway. Now, this may be someone else. You know, it's interesting because the Two of Swords is naturally the way we're doing our cards falling under the sun. And in the Two of Swords, you're wearing a blindfold. It is potentially blocking an opportunity. It normally means it's something I don't want to face. And her head is kind of leaning towards the death card. So, it's not the Eight of Swords, so it's not a self-created prison. It's a touch of fear. All right. Knight of Swords heading right to the Ace of Swords. Interesting. Feels like the Knight of Swords is communication, and the Ace of Swords feels like the conversation. Your cards are taking their good old time, but we're going to let them. Hello, Magician. How beautiful under the world. The world can certainly represent 2026, and so does the Magician. We will be in the Magician's energy for 2026. Do I feel like this is saying I have to wait till 2026? I feel like whatever the death card represents to you, whatever transformation needs to take place, I feel like as soon as that happens, everything else happens. All right, well, let's keep going. Seven of Swords. This could be why the Two of Swords is here. Nine of Swords. Palace of Wands. Interesting. It's interesting because I often feel the Ace of Swords is truth. It's truthful communication. But it's mirroring the Seven of Swords, which is anything other than. Seven of Swords is the thief in the night. And you can even look at his energy. It's like he's just stole something and he's running. And he's looking back to see if anyone caught him. And the magician is right beside him. And the sun is here. So, will this person be caught? They will be caught. Whatever they might be doing. You know, let's just say they view someone from the past who, let's call him a cheater, who reaches out. I really don't feel like this is saying, like, consider taking them back. I really don't. Now, of course, that is up to each and every one of you. But will the communication be truthful? I don't think so. Now, this is not like, I don't feel like this is like, what do I want to say? Like the concept of your reading. I feel like it's a part of what was. You already know this person, let's say, this energy. And it may just be energy. But again, it's untrustworthy energy. And it makes complete sense that Two of Swords is there. So sometimes people from our past come back that we really have no interest in. Especially if, well, in the Seven of Swords, they probably hurt us pretty deeply. But you have the Palace of Wands down here. And I feel like the palace is what my ultimate goal is. Palace of Wands is something you should is a energy you should feel very natural in. It's passion oriented. It's action oriented. You know, you're doing and being with who you love in the Palace of Wands. Again, it's an energy I'm shooting for, but it is showing. The only thing that puts a little bit of on it is the Nine of Swords is right before it. Can I create this palace where you have the magician, the sun, and the world, so you can? But the Nine of Swords is, it can be self-doubt. Remember, the meaning of the Nine of Swords is unnecessary worry. We have to keep that in mind. So, whatever the worry is here, it's like I can hand it over. Hand it to your guides. Hand it to divine. All right, well, let's keep going. Eight of Cups, walking away. Ciao. I was just gonna swear. Ciao, motherfucker, ciao. Excuse my language, but that's the words I felt. Ciao, motherfucker, ciao. Wow. Okay, so that's you having emotional clarity. That's you understanding the majority of, let's just say, emotional things that some went okay, some went well, some not so well. This is about allowing yourself to have a new beginning. And the person in the Eight of Cups is heading to the Nine of Cups, inner harmony. So that wouldn't match with the Nine of Swords. That's the opposite of inner harmony. But I feel like this is you clearing. It's like, okay, so the Death card is asking you for transformation. And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing. You're clearing this energy. Like once and for all. You know, I feel like the Eight of Cups is another energy where you should be proud of yourself, because this is the willingness to like really look within my emotional house, to understand it, to understand myself, you know, as it relates to love. And then the sun is here to help illuminate everything and anything that you need, but also your direction. So let's keep going. Well, well, well. Hello, lovers. Hello, lovers. Card of Gemini. The meaning of the card is the head over heart decision. What I love about this image is both these people are naked. And to me, that means that both are comfortable within their own skin. And each allowing, like, I don't know if allowing is the right word, but each appreciating each other for exactly who they are. You know, it's definitely chemistry. It's coming under the magician. So, in a way, I feel like you might be wanting to manifest this, not the Seven of Swords. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Well, this night would definitely help you reach that Palace of Wands. This night talks about passion that's really rushing in. This is a fast-moving night. But what I bring, you know, it can be a whirlwind, but it's heading right to the lovers. And by the way, I love the fact that the lovers came after the Eight of Cups. So I feel like the Seven of Swords, the Two Swords, the Nine of Swords is more of what was, or for some of you, you could have an ex reaching out. But this is not an ex that I would consider. You know what I mean? Because again, I feel like this is someone who definitely carried untrustworthy energy, kept you in a worried state. You leave the house, where are you going? What are you doing? Why does it take you 5 hours to grab a gallon of milk? That type of energy. I shouldn't laugh because it's terrible energy. Even if someone's not doing something, it's still that feeling. And why would you be having that feeling? Well, that sun will illuminate who's ever in the Seven of Swords and whatever it is they're doing. If someone's coming in and telling you, I've changed, but I don't think you're buying it. I just don't think you're buying it. And I wouldn't be surprised because this is a year where a lot of people are seeing exes return. And some is good news, and some not such great news. This is someone that I'd just keep moving. Just keep moving, Jack. It's not the lovers. I just feel that. And I love the lovers is connected to your next chapter with the magician, the manifester. The magician is really our mentor. And the magician is teaching us that we possess everything we need to be successful on our next journey. It may take some leaps of faith. And, this Eight of Cups feels more important than ever because if you dealt with really untrustworthy type energy, they call it the thief in the night, the Seven of Swords. I feel like it's just someone who is more than comfortable living in lower vibrational energy, which is their choice. We each, our lives are our lives. Sometimes we give them away. I want it back now. I want it back. And that's what you're saying in the Eight of Cups. Whether you're saying it or not doesn't even matter. It's just, I feel like you're closing that chapter. And I feel like that's the best thing you could do. All right, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck, if I can pick them up. Well, hello, world. So now we have two worlds. Let's see what's under this one. Hangman. And then the Hermit. So this may talk about some spiritual clarity was needed, but you probably found it. The Hangman's almost like a pause in the action until you found it. It's almost like your protection in a way, against any lower vibrational energy. But honestly, I feel like the world is signifying or connecting, let's say, the lovers, because we have two worlds. That means potentially two people starting a new chapter. Let's bring in the crystal vision. Let's go deeper. It's also interesting you have the Knight of Wands mirroring the the Knight of Wands, which is full of passion, mirroring the Nine of Swords, which is full of worry. And another reason why the Eight of Cups is important. Because when you have emotional clarity, then the worry goes. When you know yourself and you know what you deserve, and you deserve someone who can give you their attention. You know what I mean? I want to say all the time, but, we each need our own free time. But what I mean is someone who's dedicated to you and you to them. Definitely would go both ways. So, I get the worry. But what I'm really seeing is the power of your growth. All right. I feel like your guides just wanted to take us back just so we could see, like, sometimes where the worry comes from. Sometimes we can say, I never have love in my life, or why do I keep bringing the wrong type of love? Well, then we have to look at our own energy, and that's really what the Eight of Cups is. It's not to put the blame on you, but when we ourselves feel like, in a lower vibrational energy, it's just natural that we would attract the same type of energy. But as we evolve, as our energy evolves, our spirit evolves, will so do what comes in evolves. It's like attracting like. The law of attraction. Doesn't guarantee you that lower vibration won't come in, but the problem is that you will know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. What you say? Hit the road, Jack. All right. I love it when the cards just kind of plop out. It just feels so right. Well, I can tell you why it feels so right. First of all, let's start with the Three of Wands. This is optimism. This is living in the present moment. And this is pretty much worry free. This is where you're trusting divine, that whatever ships were meant to find you will find you, and in their divine timing. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to start enjoying my life. This is having an optimistic view about your future. It's very much like the Fool, right? Like just celebrating the day. And if an adventure comes my way, then I'll probably move towards it, because look what's next. The Ten of Cups over the Knight of Swords. Now, that is like attracting like. Why? Because it's showing you in an optimistic energy over the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords, yes, what I said earlier, I feel still applies, but now I feel like we're beyond that. And I feel like the Ace of Swords is your authentic self. It's your truth and you living in it. And then comes the Ten of Cups over the Knight of Swords. Wow. First of all, I feel like this is someone speaking in these terms. I don't feel like it's moving us directly into the Ten of Cups, but I feel like the potential is definitely showing itself. I kind of love that the Three of Wands and the Palace of Wands are really what's connecting the cards. And then this Knight of Wands that's coming rushing in. Could this be? That is the house of love, the house of harmony. And Mother Mary is asking you to open your heart. I'm telling you, there is a reason. This feels completely different than maybe your norm. Let me tell you something. I feel like when you freed yourself, however you did it, and however it was done, from the Seven of Swords, it was a major sign to the universe. First of all, that you recognize the energy you're in and that you want change. That's the first step, wanting change. Well, I guess the first step is the realization or the truth of what's actually happening here. So again, if the person in Seven of Swords tries to come back in, but then we have these lovers down here who's ushering passion along with it, and it's already like off the charts, like the chemistry is off the charts, and then you add the Knight of Wands into that. Well, that makes sense that you have the potential of moving. This Palace of Wands, again, what I'm shooting for, boy, it's feeling like the potential of reaching it is becoming easier and easier. But you're not going to be alone if you so choose. I have to add that in because you may choose, I want to be alone, which is totally your choice. But I know because the Three of Wands, it's not the only reason, it's just the way I'm feeling. That Three of Wands before the Ten of Cups, I know it's connected to the Lovers and the Knight of Wands. I just feel the connection of them. And yes, it can be scary to give your heart after dealing with something this difficult. But because, again, of the Eight of Cups, I feel like that is your saving grace, to be honest. And the sun illuminating your emotional house. It's like wrapping up the final, what's got to go. I want better for my life. And if I want better, I need to do better. And if I really want better, I need to think about the energy that surrounds me. It reminds me, and I used to tell my kids, which I'm sure many of you have, you are who you hang out with. You are what you eat. Okay, keep going. So it feels like it's becoming easier and easier to close that door. We have, look at that, the sun over the sun. First of all, synchronicities already. And then, hello, magician over the magician. In line with the lovers and the world. Well, when I say like minded energy, it is like two people manifesting. I don't know if they know each other. At this point, I don't feel that. I can usually feel it at this point, but I don't feel that yet. But what I do feel is the like minded energy. And what I love is that both are coming out of the sun's energy, out of the light. Now that means energy you can trust. It's like two lonely people wanting to manifest the highest level of love. So if that's the case, that's why it's so important to understand where your own energy is at. The Three of Wands reminds me of Mother Mary's card. I expect good things to happen, and they do. I expect good things to happen, and they do. In the Nine of Swords, I expect bad things to happen, and they do. What am I attracting? What am I telling the universe? I know what you're telling the universe. Don't bring me any bullshit. Okay. You know, let's just put it this way. If the lovers is not love for you, then it is a best friend. Like, it is someone that you will feel so comfortable with, and they you. And who knows, maybe it does start as a friendship that develops into something much more. I mean, I just love the fact that the sun is here twice. By the way, that is double Leo, I should say that. And the magician. And they're side by side. So the sun doubled, the magician doubled side by side. The Fool. It's kind of beautiful to be truthful because it's coming over the Seven of Swords. And this is you having a new beginning. This is you taking a leap of faith even after that fact, even after what you've dealt with. But this is a great symbol of this is not them. This is not that type of energy. This is something I feel like you're being called to take a leap of faith on. Even if there is a little bit of fear. Remember, even though we have the Ten of Cups, and I do feel that potential, we don't have to move, at lightning speed. The Knight of Cups or the Knight of Wands is right below it. And that is kind of fast moving. But it's full of passion at the same time. So when I said hit the road, Jack, like, I feel like you told someone to hit the road. How beautiful. The Fool is mirroring the Three of Wands. The Fool is about a new beginning. And how beautiful that we're opening up this new beginning with the sun. Your illuminator, but then the magician. And there is the Fool's greatest mentor right by him. Magician speaks to the Fool and says, you possess everything you need to be successful on this path. You've done this emotional work. You found emotional balance. That's probably the word I should use. And now it feels like it's just your time, your turn. All right, let's keep going. It's not easy to take a leap of faith after you dealt with, in the Seven of Swords, I often feel they, if they're not a narcissist, they certainly have narcissistic tendencies. Again, someone I feel that would tell you what you want to hear versus the truth. Why? Because they don't want to deal with the consequences. Well, the consequences eventually became you leaving. You closing that chapter. And I don't feel like it was easy, even though I feel like while you were in it, that wasn't easy. So, I feel like every step along the way where you've made changes, especially when you feel it within your soul, give yourself a pat on the back. Recognize your own growth. And then we have the unknown card over the Nine of Swords. Totally makes sense. This is the High Priestess. But this is maybe where you're not quite hearing your guidance. It's the uncertainty. That can be fearful for a lot. Usually not you, Aries. Like, I see you, like, willing to take these leaps of faith, willing to take an adventure, but you are human, like the rest of us. So someone could have, like, held you back for a while. So it just telling us that the fear is coming more from the uncertainty than anything. Like, lover, lover, how do I know you'll be true? Probably because with the mirroring energy so close here, they may have also dealt with the same type of energy. So let's say a conversation is happening. You may talk about the past and, where your fear comes from. But I feel very quickly they'd put your mind at ease because I feel like they would understand it. Not someone who would shut you down, like not let you talk. I feel the opposite. Like someone who actively listens. Like, put your head on my shoulder. Put your head on my shoulder. Okay. And if you do that, well, you're going to feel the sparks. Whether you want to or not, you're going to feel them. But I don't know why I feel like someone is saying that to you in a very tender way. Like, put your head on my shoulder. Sit beside me and cry. Let it out. They are not a foe. They are a friend who I feel has the potential of then becoming, well, maybe your best and truest love yet. I like this because I don't feel like anyone's pushing you to do anything you're not comfortable with doing. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't want to be with you because they do. But it's like they understand that they have to approach this in a way where you are comfortable. I like this person. I like this person a lot for you. Put your head on my shoulder. Ten of Swords. Dang. Okay. Interesting because the Ten of Cups is right above it. It's coming next to the Nine of Swords. Ten of Swords represents dagger after dagger in your back. But I could also talk about repeat patterns. Let's just say that the person in the Seven of Swords had put dagger after dagger in your back. And maybe you gave them multiple chances, but then it always turns right back to the Ten of Swords. But now you know that. And that's the thing. Trust that you now know that. Because something is telling me that they may also reach out. And I have to say, that is perfect narcissistic energy. Right? I treated you like shit, but I'll be damned if I want someone else to love you. But here's the thing. You don't care. You don't care any longer what they think. Like, I feel like the one thing you can say as you walk away is, I tried. I really tried. Where I don't feel the other person could say the same thing. And I could see how that would weigh on you. But yet, I feel like what this is saying for you is it's kind of like, sometimes we want what we think we want, but our soul knows better. So I may have wanted this person in the Seven of Swords, but I have a feeling I wanted them to be better. But maybe they're just incapable of it, or they have no interest. I often feel like a narcissist when, like, you expect or you say your piece. If they say they're sorry, I wouldn't trust it. Not if you've given them multiple chances, but nothing has changed. That's really what this is saying. Is with this person in the Seven of Swords, nothing has changed. And it will only put you right back in the Ten of Swords. So know that. And I feel a sense of if you understand what you deserve, then this lower vibrational energy, you don't give it the time of day anymore. It's almost like I find Aries at this crossroad, and on one path stands this lover. On the other path stands this old lover. The one path with the old lover, I know. Even though it hurts, it's hard, it's still what I know. And for some people, that outweighs taking chances. It can be too scary. But not for you, Aries. Not if you really look deep within yourself. You love helping people. You love helping the underdog. And maybe the person in the Seven of Swords was the underdog. And maybe you were trying to help them raise their own vibration. But the truth is, they just didn't want to. Excuse my language, but I feel like I just want the sex, not the rest. But yet I feel like you're like, well, you can't have that. Right? If there's not love connected to it. Okay, let's keep moving. We have the High Priestess, your intuition. And how beautiful that the sun, the double sun, now really illuminating your intuition. Some of you, this may have happened around Cancer season, which just was. I feel like if you truly listen to your intuition, or if you truly have been listening to your intuition, and by the way, I kind of love that we have the Fool, and then Magician being the Fool's first mentor, and the High Priestess being the second Fool's mentor. The High Priestess teaches the Fool that I am your GPS to use in this lifetime. Trust me. I won't guide you wrong. Don't second guess me, because that's where things happen that maybe you didn't plan. That first instinct. And then the double sun. Like, if you can't trust your intuition in the month of August, and by the way, and going forward, then I don't know. I'm saying I don't know, but I just feel like there's no way you won't be able to. Yes, you might second guess it, but something tells me that you'll come back to that original gut instinct. But I don't even want to put a negative tone on this. This just feels like, again, at that crossroads, have the lovers on one, the cheater on the other. Cheater's energy, I know, been there. Even comfortable. Sometimes we become comfortable in the uncomfortableness. The lover's energy means I have to take a chance. I have to take a leap of faith. And what does your intuition tell you to do? That's the ticket. Because your intuition is going to guide you. And I already know they're going to guide you towards the lovers. And I'm not saying everyone is at a crossroads. I'm using it as an example. Though some of you may be right at that crossroads. We have the Six of Pentacles coming over the lovers, which is also a six. Six of Pentacles is that fine, arty give and take. Again, it's reminding me of your opposite, Libra, where it's about balance, what's fair and just in the world. Six of Pentacles is a very compassionate and empathetic energy. And I love it coming over the lovers because it makes me feel that both are of that type of energy. I still want to help the underdog, but now I'm understanding who to help and who not to help. Who am I helping by lifting their life up, and who's just taking advantage of my help? I feel like that was a lesson. And I feel like it's already been learned. So to me, it's about getting back to your true self. Like, that's what I love about you. That willingness to help the underdog. But yet, you probably just had to learn, like many of us do. Two of Wands over the Knight of Wands. Beautiful. It's like the progression, right? The magician manifesting it out of the light. The Fool. I'm ready to take that leap of faith. Why? I'm going to trust my intuition. Two of Wands means you are stepping upon this path. And then we have Justice. Interesting that I kept talking about justice. The justice we're putting over here. So that means we're going to take cards below. Justice is cutting your ties. By the way, right now, mirroring the Death card. And, maybe it's taken you a while to just get the guts up to say enough is enough. But again, no judgment. Like, you use this sword when you're ready to use this sword. But I feel like, oh, you're ready. And honestly, I feel like you've already used it. And using the sword just means cutting out the riffraff, right? The fat within one's life. The things that we don't need to worry about. But I feel like also the Seven of Swords. But I feel like it had to go. And what happens when you use the Sword of Justice? Balance. You find balance almost immediately. Justice, when it shows in a reading, its job is really to make you feel whole again. So using that sword, which I feel like is corresponding with the death card, that's what closes that door. And then the sun in the world, the next chapter opens up. You're being asked just to take a leap of faith, trust your intuition. We already know the Lovers is part of this next chapter. The potential of the Ten of Cups is here. But also the Three of Wands, what I think about, I bring about. I expect good things to happen, and they do. And I'm going to trust in divine. But I'm going to also do my part. Because I kind of feel you're working hand in hand with divine here. Like divine's like, I have the perfect person. But we need you to take this leap of faith. And I love that all your mentors came out. We have the High Priestess here, which is shown as the unknown card. So this is where worry was stemming from. But now we have the High Priestess without worry, being able to feel your way. And then the sun, again, illuminating that. I feel like, I don't know why I keep repeating what I've already talked about. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. Beautiful. This means something is coming into your physical world. I feel the Ace of Pentacles starts as a seed, and through our nurturing, it only grows and blossoms and throws off more seeds, which also grows and blossoms. Ace of Pentacles gives you the way. For some of you, it can mean money. Maybe you do want to make some changes. Maybe you want to move. I feel like the universe is hearing you. By the way, that Ace of Pentacles is mirroring the Ten of Cups. Wow. Okay, I can't take all them. There was just way too many. We have the Queen of Swords. You know, I was just thinking, you have come out with the Empress in Scorpio's reading, in Taurus's reading, and I don't know, like, I'm trying to think how many readings have I done so far. I feel like you're my fifth for the month of August. So out of 5 readings, you have come out in 2, but with the Empress. My power couple. And you know what's triggering that memory is the Queen of Swords. Because in each one of those readings, I felt like the Queen of Swords was doing like a mic drop, like saying her final piece, and then gone. Queen of Swords can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have Libra. We have Gemini. We don't have Aquarius. But I have to say, I feel like the Queen of Swords is your truth and you speaking it. With the High Priestess right above that. Interesting. Because all of a sudden, I'm feeling there could be this opportunity that comes in. And this may sound strange, but for some, maybe not. I feel like an opportunity may come in as it relates to you, but it feels like using your voice, but in a helping way. You know, it kind of feels like a podcast, but I feel like it's you speaking. Or maybe you're doing like what's so like motivational videos or something. I feel like there's, you know, how you love to help the underdog and usually help who's around you. But now I feel like this is the energy to help in a much wider range. If you've been thinking about a podcast, or, and this is just a couple of things I'm getting, like motivational videos, but it is talking about, well, first, I feel like you may tell your story, but then I feel like it's about healing, is what it's about. And here's another thing. I feel like for those that resonate with this particular message, I feel like it's your guides who are really, you know, pushing you, so to speak, but because they know you're ready. You know, that tells me that these experiences, especially the difficult ones, and I know people don't like it when I say this, but they have taught you. They have taught you a lot. And, you know, let's face it, the majority of us have gone or have been connected to someone also in the Seven of Swords. So I want to call him a narcissist, and maybe that's what you're speaking about, but really, it's about finding peace and freedom. And we haven't even reached the lovers yet. So let's continue. Some of you may be doing it out of your very home. Listen, I work from my home and I just love it. Like, not having to answer to anyone. Well, I have to answer to myself, I guess. All right, well, let's keep going. Wow. I'll tell you why I said wow in a second. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting. So, literally, feels like what you're doing for a living, or what you will be doing for a living, if you choose. Eight of Pentacles, you know, the meaning of the card is don't be afraid to go into something as the apprentice. But with that knowing that one day you will be the master teacher. Well, some of you already are a master teacher, but maybe you don't know it yet. Maybe the minute you open up, I'm just going to say a podcast, everything starts to make sense. Eight of Pentacles also answers a question. How do I know that I can be successful? If you focus on it, then you will grow it. You know, it's interesting because most of your reading has talked about love. And I still feel like this ultimate love. But I also feel like a really unexpected but kind of beautiful offer comes your way. And I'm saying an offer, it may just be your intuition. So it could be your guides speaking to you through your intuition, which again is ignited, and you're following. And you may find yourself on a completely new path, but probably loving every minute of it. I feel like some of you are going to work from home. Now, I don't know that that's everyone, We have justice right there. Some of you may be picking up some law books, you know. Maybe you went through a terrible divorce, but it got you interested in the law. And I want to learn more. If you have that, like, I feel like just how I opened up with tarot and my spirituality, I was guided to this path. This is not a path that I chose because I knew nothing about it. But man, was I guided. Like I try to tell bits and pieces of my own story because I relate to the readings and I feel like it is my experiences why I'm able to do this because I've been through the majority. But anyways, what's my point? My point is you never know the potential of what can be. I feel like the Three of Wands might just be everything. I expect good things to happen, and they do. But then mirroring the Fool, you taking a leap of faith, even if you don't know where it's going to lead, if it feels right, follow it. If it doesn't feel right, well, maybe that's not the right direction. But it doesn't mean like the right direction's not so close. Again, I feel like your intuition's going to be illuminated, so I'm not even worried about that. But I feel like your compassion and empathy is also being called into you. So, number one, you love helping the underdog anyways. But now it feels like you're helping and making a living, but you're truly helping. And I feel like the stretch of people you're helping is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Who knows? Maybe you start a podcast and you have one listener. And then next week you have 10. And then next week you have 100. You know what I mean? Like, don't give up. Don't give up. All right, well, let's keep going. Well, there's the star. So now we have all the air signs out, but this is your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes. Wow. How about manifesting some of them? It's the sense that you've given your life to another who just played around with it. But now that you've reclaimed your life, yourself, and you're willing to take some chances, well, then I feel like a whole lot of stuff is going to open up. Well, hello, Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. Wow. And look who's connected. The lovers. The lovers. By the way, I never feel in the Ten of Cups or the Ten of Pentacles that you're alone. Doesn't mean that you can't create all this abundance for yourself. I know that you can. But I feel like what this is saying, because the Ten of Pentacles it is the house of abundance. It's a house that can truly take root. There's real purpose, I feel, in this house. But then we also have the house of love and harmony. I mean, that kind of would equal this Palace of Wands. The star. Some wishes coming true. Well, how true is that? The star is marrying the Fool. But then the Two of Wands in between. Just stepping on the path. Gonna see where it takes me. Two lovers. Two suns. Two magicians. And I feel like there's more. The Ten of Cups. The Ten of Pentacles. Um, all of a sudden I get this feeling also that, let's just say, this new person, because I feel like they are very like-minded, I could see you collaborating with them. I could see both of you working together because the similarities seem pretty great and the timing just seems right. I got this Ace of Pentacles. If I loved it and I nurture it, it only grows and blossoms. And look what it blossomed to. That Ten of Pentacles. But you're not alone. The Lovers. Look at that embrace. Let's look at the colors around them. Represents passion, chemistry, love. Excuse me one sec. Okay, I'm back. I was only gone for a second. Um, wow. I don't even know what else to say about this. So, King of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. It's very seldom I turn the clarifiers around, but something made me turn it around. So, King of Pentacles. First of all, King of Pentacles is someone who, when they look at life or a situation, they look at the big picture. And that may be calling for that. King of Pentacles can also represent Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Page of Swords under that. All right. Well, what I want to do is I want to bring out the clarifying love situations. Wow. I knew this was going to be pretty major reading. And honestly, Aries, it can be life-changing if that's what you're seeking. Seek me, and ye shall find me. All right. Faded revelations. Uncover the omens, decipher their meanings, and embrace your destined path. Uncover the omens, decipher their meaning, and embrace your destined path. Flight plan. Sometimes things fall apart. Wow. For better things to come. That is so true. And if we remember this, because when things do fall apart, sometimes we feel like, oh, that's it. My life is over. But this is so true. Sometimes things fall apart for better things to come. Feels like that's what your whole reading has been about. All right, let's go ahead and bring out the romance angels. I hope you notice the synchronicities. Calling in your soulmate. Well, that's why we have two magicians. And it's interesting because, like, unbeknownst to you, and probably unbeknownst to them, you're calling each other in. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. See it as already being so. Sometimes things fall apart for better things to come. Calling in your soulmate. That's exactly what's happening. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. That could be a good thing. Keep an open mind. What Mother Mary say? Open your heart. Codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. That could certainly be the case. But honestly, what I feel is the codependency is back at that Seven of Swords. Again, I feel it's the energy of what's been comfortable, even though it's uncomfortable. It's what I know. And that could certainly mean that's what I feel it means. Though, it does say addictions are affecting your romantic life. I don't feel that, but you'll know. And then look at this wedding. This situation involves marriage. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Not with the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. Not with the Lovers here twice. Not with the Magician here twice. The Sun here twice. The World's here twice. Are you noticing the synchronicities? Someone telling you, put your head on my shoulder. Let me ease your pain. And they do. And they do. And by the way, you can be that same shoulder for them. Because I feel like the synchronicities are off the chart. But I feel like chemistry will also be off the chart. And I feel like one of the best things that was said in this reading is sometimes things fall apart for better things to come. Calling in your soulmate. Keeping it open. Because again, your soulmate may differ from your usual type. Well, let's just say that if you're someone who has had bad relationship after bad relationship, you must have found clarity within yourself. Because I feel like it's that clarity that allows better things to come. What an abundant reading, Aries. It showed us some of your past, but I do feel like we have to know where we've been. But my God, it is showing the potential of your tomorrow. And let's just say, the sun is out. And that is also very playful, unencumbered energy. Feels a lot different than what was. It feels a lot different. And then I'm also looking at the sun, and I'm looking at that younger energy. For some of you, you may know who this other lovers is. You may not expect it, because I don't feel you expect. I don't even feel like you expect this path to open up as it relates to your money. But I feel like the opportunity will show itself. You just have to trust within. You've learned so much. Of course, divine would want you to help others. But now you know the difference between helping those who take advantage and helping those where you're raising them up. That's the world. I'm going to let that be, Aries. Wow. No wonder you were showing in so many readings. And not just you and the Empress. I'm going to let that be. Put your head on their shoulder. Let it out. And then just let it be. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. I just loved your reading. I would love to hear your comments. I love hearing how a reading resonates with you. And, a whole reading doesn't have to resonate, but there may be certain messages, that definitely hit home for you. So, would love to hear. And, I feel like one of the most important energies is the Fool and the Three of Wands. The willingness to put the past in the past, to live in the present moment. And then as opportunity shows, the willingness to take a leap of faith. That's what you're doing in the Two of Wands. You're stepping upon the path. You're not making any commitments, not right away. And it's not asking you to. It's just asking you to simply step upon the path. The rest will reveal itself. I know that. I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Enjoy August. Put a pin in it. It's so interesting how in the beginning of the reading I said I felt some of you, it's like an anniversary date. And then we have wedding. Or even the Ace of Pentacles, when I started my new business. Maybe both. Why not? Why not? Because I do feel like for some of you, there is this energy of collaboration and love. If you so choose. But the ability is already there. All right. I keep talking. I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.